Hey everyone, welcome to the Bible Belt Bros podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Dusty. Right next to me is Andrew.
What's up, guys?
You had to think about what to say there.
I did.
And today we are, going to talk a little bit about evangelism. So, are you evangelizing?
Evangelism?
Yes, sir.
You know, we had a task this week.
Yeah, we had a guest speaker at our church and told us to share our testimony to somebody this week.
Wait, stop. He said he wasn't a guest speaker. He was that weird Mexican uncle on your mother's side or father's side that only comes over for holidays. That's what he called himself.
That's his words, not ours.
His words, yes.
His words, not ours. That's it. So yeah, but he gave us a challenge of telling somebody close to us our story. And Andrew,
not necessarily close to us, just telling somebody.
Oh my God,
our testimony.
Correct everything I say.
Well, I can't let you be wrong.
And so Andrew, you've done that.
I did. I checked that box off.
It's a good job for you.
Thank you. I need my gold star, please.
It was like a good timing for that sermon for me because I had just recently came back from a trip where I failed miserably at evangelizing and just the opportunity. But before I tell you the story, Andrew, I want to phone a friend.
Oh.
And because I need like a second opinion.
Gotcha. Are you trying to become a millionaire or phoning a friend?
No.
All right.
I'm just trying to we're going to call Rusty, okay?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Because the story I feel like, and I'll probably be terrible at telling it and retelling this story as I was living it, but it just reminded me so much of Rusty, of something Rusty would come back and say. So let's give him a call real quick.
Do you think he'll answer your call?
I hope so, because I said, hey, I'm going to call you. I'm not surprising the guy.
So
this isn't a gotcha podcast.
Even more reason will he answer?
Oh, gosh. Maybe.
Or did he just turn his phone off?
That would be funny. Let's see.
Hello, this is Rusty.
Hello, Rusty. This is Dusty.
Well, hello, Dusty.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Let's see. Getting some shopping done this morning, sounds like.
Still shopping, man. Still shopping.
Okay. Well, I have a story. It's kind of long. Do you have some time? I need some second opinions.
Okay, tell me.
So I was traveling, and you're a traveling man, and I just had this thing happen to me that was much like a story I would hear you say, but your stories usually end with, and I led them to Jesus, or I told them about the Lord, and they're coming, something like that.
We baptized them in the Nile River. Right?
Yeah, and I had some good intentions.
That's just the ones I tell.
And I had some good intentions, but I feel like I failed miserably, so I'm going to need some pointers from you. But let me tell you the story. So I was in Canada for work, and I was flying back to Oklahoma, and I got on, I had to go to Calgary Airport at 4 a.m. and go through all the customs and stuff, and then I flew to Dallas, was the connection flight. So I'm landing in Dallas at about 11?
11A?
Yes, 11A.
Sorry, I did do
A, yeah.
The Canada thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're not calling you for your jokes, Rusty. I'm joking. So, yeah, maybe it was like a 3.5 hour flight. So it might have been closer to 10, and my next flight was out at I started boarding at 11:30. Either way, I'm not sure on my time frames, but don't worry, the time frames don't matter when you're flying.
Very important to this story I'm telling. Yeah.
Yes, very.
So I get to the airport, and it's like a 2-hour layover, and the whole idea is that it gets me back home at 4:30 so I can get back to my normality of no friends Friday and not having to do anything else the rest of the night. And I was definitely wanting to get back because Carson, I had him that weekend, my son that weekend, and he's been running cross country, and so just another thing that I don't want to miss anything that I just don't have the opportunity to do that and it not be huge for me. So anyway, all of that to say, I was like, all right, I need to be back by 8:30 at the latest to get to this. He usually runs around 9:30. I get to where I'm supposed to board about 30 minutes early, and there's no plane there, and I'm like, what the heck? And all of a sudden they announce that they're having some technical difficulties in the entire airport.
Of course they are.
Their telecom systems are down. I don't know what that means, but they said an hour delay. I was like, okay, an hour delay. I don't want to spend any money at this airport. I've just been walking around, just killing time, basically. I did a little bit of work because I needed to, but other than that, I was just trying not to like spend money. So then I come back.
I understand.
Come back, and then there's like, there's nobody at the desk, and I get another alert. It's another hour delay. And I'm like, oh my gosh, another hour delay. What is going to go on? And I just talked about how I've never had a flight cancel on me, and I've never had to deal with any of that. Everything works out good. And this flight cancels. And I'm like, what the heck? And I'm looking outside. There's like nothing flying out. Like there's barely some planes flying in, but it's like, this is a Dallas airport. There should be like plane after plane after plane after plane. Like that should be how it's moving and whatnot. So anyways, they're so gracious at American Airlines to allow you to rebook your flight for free and not have to pay the change flight fee or whatever.
That's nice of them.
So nice, yeah. And so I book another flight. Now that flight's leaving at like 6, putting me home about like 8. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Now I got 3 hours to kill. Now I'm going to have to eat dinner. Like I haven't eaten anything all day. I was just trying to wait till dinner, but here we go. And so luckily for us, there's Friday night football now. And so I was able to find a place, sit down and kind of eat slowly so I can watch football. And so as I'm eating, I get a phone alert that this flight has now been delayed an extra hour. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm telling Shay, like, she was supposed to pick me up, and like, okay, I'm sorry. Like here's where we're at. Hopefully this flight leaves, because it doesn't even really say Tulsa on the sign still. Like the flight that canceled before us is still on the sign of where I'm supposed to be boarding. And I'm like, this is not looking good. But my personality, Rusty, is I just close my eyes and I just hope that everything just works out. I don't panic too much. You've taught me how to improvise, adapt, and overcome, but I sometimes take a little bit more time to like improvise, like to start the process. I'm like,
the improvisation process. Yeah.
I was like, they are surely going to fly us all out. They're not going to leave this whole airport. This whole airport dealing with all of that. And so I wait, and then my phone alerts again. It's been delayed another hour. So now this is pushing back at like 10 o'clock leaving, and I think it was like 11:30 land. So we're like pushing back to be getting back at midnight. And I'm like, that's fine. I just want to be back home. And as I'm watching, I see this flight from Mexico coming in, and it says like, this is the plane that you're going to be flying back to Tulsa in. And so that plane lands in Dallas. So I'm like, great. That's good news, right? That the plane that I'm supposed to get on is now here at the airport, where the last one didn't make it. And so, and I'm casually conversating with people when I was eating, and they were just talking about how like their plane was diverted and they couldn't get off the plane, and they had to sit on the plane for 2 hours before they could finish their flight to Dallas, and then they're stuck in Dallas. My plane's here, so we're good. I watch. My bags are loaded onto the plane. I'm like, this is fantastic. We are going home. Because surely they're going to prioritize people going to Tulsa over planes that maybe are going to bigger cities. Like that's surely what they're going to do. Then the flight cancels, the alert, right? And luckily for me, and the blessings of the Lord, that they're going to allow me to reschedule again for the next flight. And don't worry, we'll move it for you. Well, that flight's not till like 7 a.m. the next day. Now I'm looking at different options. Like how much does it cost to Uber from Dallas to Tulsa? Andrew, don't look at me like that. It costs.
You know how hard it is not to say anything at this point?
Andrew, it costs.
Rusty and I would have already both been home at this point.
I could have driven to Dallas or driven back twice at this point.
I could have driven to Dallas, picked you up.
I know. Yeah. That's why I should have started this process earlier. But I also am too trusting with those things. Like if they're rebooking flights and not canceling flights, then they should be okay. Like they're not lying to us. Surely. Surely they're not lying to us. And so, anyway, I am looking at my options, right? Now I'm in the improvise, adapt, and overcome mode, even though now it's 10 p.m. What else am I going to do? And so I get to the Ubers, like $400. Then obviously you want to tip them super well. And so I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then I was like trying to rent a car. Well, guess what? Everybody else has rented the vehicles. There's
nothing.
They already did that
process like 12 hours ago.
Yeah. They started that process a long time ago. And so there's no cars to rent. There's no Ubers to get. I'm not at this point. Like, yeah, Shay could have drove me. I could Uber halfway, maybe meet Shay. Like, I'm thinking of all these things. Shay finally says, "Stop eating and go to the freaking line and talk to somebody." And so I was like, "Woman, I know how to do this." And so I went and I stopped eating and I went to go talk to her. So I get in line. There's no, I get in the line of where my flight was. Because there was a line already started, but you know how like it's kind of like the rent-a-car places where the person helps one person and they disappear in the back, and then you're like, wait a minute, I was next in line, now you're gone, and that's kind of what happened to us. Like they were helping people, then all of a sudden there was nobody at the desk anymore, and there's still a line of people waiting, and so I'm calling the 800 number to try to get customer service that way. It's like a 2-hour wait. And so it's like, I'll call you back, bing, bang, bong. It's like, okay. So I never trust those call you back, hold your lines, but 2 hours is quite a long time. So I'm on the phone with Shay, like trying to just go through the options. Obviously, she's trying to help me and assist me by being the Holy Spirit in a situation and telling me what I should be doing at this time to like get help. And as I'm talking to Shay on the phone, this dude comes up to me. He's got like cowboy boots, jeans, flannel.
So in the Hallmark movies, this would be Jesus.
Maybe, but he was really Jesus because he had just come back from Mexico, as I'd heard him, and he was going to Tulsa. And he was asking me if I knew what was up with the flight, because at this point, it still just says Tulsa and it still says it's leaving, but like they didn't change any of the signage. So nothing says delayed or canceled except for my phone app. And so now I'm like, did I reschedule my flight and I didn't need to because the app's stupid? I don't know. So I told, his name is now Alfredo. He's coming back from Mexico, is visiting family, coming back to Tulsa. And so I told him, because he had a paper ticket, and I was like, dude, like this, it's canceled. I don't know what to tell you. They don't know how airports work, but you're going to have to go talk to somebody. I'm basically telling the guy what my wife told me. So I was telling him that he needed to go talk to somebody probably to reschedule his flight. So like they just canceled all the flights out. And he goes, okay. And he's like, well, my brother lives in Fort Worth. Maybe I can just go stay with him. And I was like, well, good on you, man. Because I've checked every car. Like I've been trying to drive back to Tulsa, but I've been checking cars and Ubers and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, but if your brother lives here, I mean, that sounds like the plan to do.
It really does sound like a Hallmark movie.
that sounds like the plan. Alfredo, like just go call your brother. And so he gets on the phone, starts speaking Spanish. Have no idea what he's saying. And then I just get back to like my line. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready to go to the other line and let Shay know kind of where I'm at. My bag's loaded onto a plane that does not have a flight out now. And so I don't even know how to get my bag back. Like, it's just like a mess. But Alfredo walks up to me like 10 minutes later. He did not go to the other side of the terminal, like I said, to go talk to somebody. He called his brother. Then he came up to me and he's like, what's going on? Any changes? And I was like, man, there's nobody been here. Like I'm on hold with these guys. So maybe I can figure something out. And he goes, my brother will let me borrow his truck. And I was like, your brother would let you take his truck to Tulsa? And he goes, yeah, I do it all the time. And I was like, okay, well, I have time to kill. He's like, he basically was like, so I mean, you want to, we could drive to Tulsa together. And I was like, that sounds great. Let's see where this leads my life today. And so, Shay's like, who is this guy? You're just going to the, and I was like,
it's Jesus.
I would not do this if you were with me, obviously, but what am I going to do for the next 8 to 10 hours? I might as well see where Alfredo's going to take me and what kind of adventures we're going to go on. And so I was like, oh, well, first off, I need to go talk to somebody, figure out how to do this check bag situation, because I've never had this happen before. So we start walking to the other side of the terminal, and that's the
you
point
and Alfredo.
Me and Alfredo, yeah.
Okay,
That's the point where I go, hi, my name is Dusty. And he goes, I'm Alfredo. At this point, we don't even know each other's names. We just know, wow. I just know that he has supposedly a brother 30 minutes away that lives here. I had to tell him that it'd be a good idea to call. So does this brother exist? No idea. But he said he works nights and he just woke him up And I was like, okay, that checks out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we were walking to try to find like the bag place. That line is like a mile long. And I'm like, I'm in a 2-hour hold with customer support on the phone. I'm not going to stand in this line. By the time I get through this line, my next flight is going to be here. And then I finally get to somebody that just tells me like, what do I do with my bag? And they're like, you got to go outside to go to baggage. I'm like, okay. So I go outside, go to baggage, and I'm like, well, this line is super long and there's only one person here. By the time I get this bag, it's going to be time to fly back out again. And so I just decided, you know what?
Abandon the bag.
Abandon the bag. We'll see what happens. Yep. All right.
It'll make it.
I'm still on hold. Yeah. And I didn't know if I needed to cancel the flight. If I don't cancel the flight, will the bag still go? Who knows? But I'm on hold with this, hopefully getting a call back in the next hour and a half or so. So anyways, I go ahead and get the Uber because the guy didn't know how to Uber. So what I figured out was Alfredo didn't know how to use technology. So that's why he needed me. He didn't know how to.
There you go.
He didn't know how to get to his brother's house, and I was like, "Well, we can Uber to brother's house." And Shay was happy that I was Ubering because at least now there's an address to go pick up my body later. Like it was just like, because she just didn't want to have to look for me forever. Like that was her situation. She wanted that life insurance money quick. She didn't want to have to have that delay. Anyway, so we get in the Uber car. And we start driving to Alfredo's brother's house. Then as we're driving, they call me back. American Airlines calls me back. And I say, yes, here's my situation. Obviously, you guys have a crazy day today. Like, I'm not angry or anything. I just need to know what I need to do. And they're like, have you canceled your flight yet? And I was like, no. And they're like, let me transfer you to baggage. And I'm like, no. Okay. And then they transfer me, and it's like, your wait time is 2 hours long. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah, but this time, it doesn't give the callback option. So I'm listening to hold music now in my ears while Alfredo calls his brother, starts speaking Spanish, gets off the phone, and is like, my brother's at work, and he has the keys and he can't, something happened. He's like the foreman or whatever. So they're dealing with a situation. And I was like, okay, where's your brother? And he was like, as we're driving down this interstate highway, he's like, well, he's right there. He's doing the road construction on this highway that we're on. So I was like, should we pull over? Like, if he's right there, let's pull over. And the Uber driver's like, yeah, should we pull over? And he's like, I don't know. It was like, let's pull over. So we pull over. It was like, call your brother, see if he can bring you the keys down. If he's literally right there at the Home Depot, it's like walkable distance from the side of the road that we're at. So he, sure enough, a construction truck with the lights and everything drives down, gives Alfredo the keys. While Alfredo's getting the keys, I let the Uber driver know, just so you know, I have never met this man in my life. He's like, oh, I thought you guys were friends. I was like, well, we're about to be best friends. Because if this goes the way I think, we're about to go on a 4-hour road trip together. And so anyways, he gets the keys, comes back. Now we go to this guy's house that he's not even there because he's at work. And we go around back. So I don't even know if I'm breaking into a house at this point. So Alfredo goes to a truck, and then he's like, immediately like, I don't know which key this is. He's got like a handful of keys, like a keychain, like Rusty, like you would have back in the day, where it was like, you have keys to the old church that you used to be a youth pastor at, probably still on your keychain somewhere, and you just never got rid of. That's how this is. Alfredo's, and then Alfredo's like, well, he said I could take this other truck, but we got to clean it out first. And I was like, okay, well, let's go clean out a truck. So now I'm like basically helping this guy move, right? I'm detailing his car, and I'm pulling everything out of the bed of the truck and kind of putting it off to the side. And then he opens the door and he goes, there's stuff inside too. And I was like, okay. So now we're pulling stuff on the inside of the truck, which I don't even like, okay, whatever. So we're cleaning out this inside of the truck and we're putting it back away. And then his brother shows up. So his brother could have been there the whole time, I guess. I'm not really sure, but his brother now shows up to help us unload this stuff. And then we get it all unloaded, clean. I got my stuff in there. He's got his stuff in there. And then like he goes to talk to his brother again in Spanish. I'm like, this is where it ends for me. And then comes back and he's like, hey, Dusty. And I was like, yes. And he's like, help me load this mini fridge into the car. I'm going to take this back with me. I'm like, what the heck am I doing here? Now I'm helping this guy move stuff back to Tulsa. This has been his plan the whole time. He never had a flight to Tulsa. I bet he just was like, you know what? There's some guys in Tulsa that could probably help me move.
Free movers.
Basically. So I'm loading this fridge up. I'm just go with the flow. Let's see what happens. And we load this fridge up, and then Alfredo's like, I don't really like driving at night. Do you mind driving? So I was like, yeah, I will drive for you. Sure thing. So we pull out, we go to the gas station, and
Did you have to pay for gas?
no, he said, because I'm driving, he'll pay for gas.
FYI, that's code for I don't have a driver's.
Yeah,
That's code for I don't have a driver's license and there's no insurance on this truck.
There probably is not insurance on the truck. so I and it was one of these like lifted trucks too. Like it was definitely pretty funny. But
wow.
So I get to the gas station. Alfredo's filling it up with gas. I go inside. I need an energy drink at this point. I've been up since 4 a.m. Doing all this stuff. I grab an energy drink, go to the counter, and I'm like, "Hey, here you go." And he goes, "My card machine's down. Can't accept money." I'm like, is it going to be back up soon? Like, what are you wanting me to put this away? Why are we open? Like, I don't know what's going on here. And he goes, I don't know. I've reset it. And I was like, oh, fine. Okay, I'll put this away. No problem, man. I forgot to say that my Alfredo tried to tip the Uber driver in Mexican money when he was pulling out his wallet. He was trying to give him an extra 20, but he had all his money from Mexico mixed in with his American money. He ended up having a $20 bill, but I had to like get a flashlight out for him to go through his wallet. And he's a really funny dude. He was like, he probably doesn't want this, does he? And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so then I come out of the gas station. Now his brother's back there again, filling up the tire with air, because I guess it had a low tire or something, and having a family reunion, catching up, because they hadn't seen each other in a while, probably. Finally, we get on the road, and I'm telling Shay, I'm like, I'm going to tell Jesus about Jesus. Obviously, 4-hour conversation, that's going to have to come up, right?
Wow.
Well, no, it doesn't. It's basically, we talk for a bit. I learned about, he's lived in Fort Worth for 20 years. Some of his math didn't really add up. He's been in Tulsa for like 15 years. And I'm like, man, I feel like you're like...
And he's only 24.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, like, whatever. But so then we talk quite a bit. And then I look over and Alfredo's asleep. Like, he's asleep in the car. And so I drive basically the next 3 hours in silence, listening to music and stuff in my ears, and ended up talking to somebody from American Airlines, and they're like, "Oh, cancel your flight. We'll get you your bag, no problem." So the only time I threw in the Jesus conversation was when we passed Church That Matters on the way home, and I was like, "I go to church there. It's a great church." And then we're home, right? So like,
right.
I don't know if I need lessons, Rusty, on how to talk to people in general, or if I need lessons on how to, because like, I'm never going to see this guy again. Like that should be the easiest way to like, just tell somebody and open up about your faith. But for some reason I did not. And that was the difference between your stories and my story, is my story is still pretty selfish. I'm just trying to get home, and your story is you find opportunities and you see what God's maybe brought Jesus.
That wouldn't be, if there's differences, that wouldn't be the only difference. First of all, I'd never fly American Airlines if I can choose. Second of all, never check a bag. So just carry on. You don't need to check a bag. And so there's that part of it. Third of all, I would have driven home way before I ever met Mr. Alfredo. So I wouldn't have been able to share with Alfredo either. So there you go. But if you're asking, what would I do in that situation? There's a few things, Dusty, that I think could be, fruitful. First of all, let me just say, as someone who has known you for a very long time and someone who, just watched your journey, I'm super proud that you had it on your heart to share with him. That's the first thing. And that you care that you didn't, have or take that opportunity, right? So I'm proud, man. Really proud. That makes me just smile. So
Well, thank you. I still failed, but yeah, thank you.
I might even get them. I'm in Home Depot, and I might people are like, man, you're really emotional about these tubs right here that you're buying. Maybe, yeah, they've got all kinds of stories going on in their minds of what I'm buying these tubs for now.
Is Alfredo's brother there with you?
Yeah, can you check to see if he's got the keys? Because
so, man, fun way would have been just to slam on your brakes at some time and then like wake him up and scream, do the thing like the old prank we used to do in youth ministry in the church van, like people are asleep and
then be like, where would you have gone if that was actually
so, like, hey, if that would have been real, do you know where you would have gone? Like, there you go. I mean, anything, right? I like D.L. Moody. He was a real bold evangelist, and he would have a guy stand up on the table and like sing. This guy named I think his name was Ira Sankey. He would sing real loud and beautifully, and people would pay attention in the restaurant or whatever. And then D.L. Moody would stand up on the table and like preach the gospel, like hellfire and brimstone, like real hardcore. Mm-hmm. And this lady came to him one time and was griping him out for the way that he does that. Like, it's just too brash, too bold, too, like people would say a lot of times now. And he said, you know what? Actually, there are times you have some good points, and there's sometimes I don't even like the way that I share the gospel, but I like the way that I share the gospel better than the way that you don't do it at all.
Right.
And she's like, well, so even those crazy things people do, like slam on the brakes and say, or do you think there'll be ice cream in heaven? Things we would think are cheesy or whatever. I mean, I was just telling the story. The guy that's going to, become the lead pastor at Church That Matters, Kyle Henderson. I was just sharing with, how we met him. Was a cheesy outreach at Apple Creek Apartments, where our house church was going door to door with light bulbs. Back when you could actually give somebody a light bulb and it might fit in the socket. Now that they're all customized, you never know. Yeah. And we're knocking on the door saying, hey, we have some light bulbs. Would you like some light bulbs? And can we talk to you about the light of the world? So it's like, cheesy and corny as it gets, but it is, we care, right? We want to some way open the conversation. All that to say, man, finding a way can be fun at times and even cheesy at times, but it opens conversations even through the laughter. Dusty, I think I would have probably done something like that because I would have probably not even as pure a motive, but just because it'd have been a fun way to start the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a great story later for him and for me. So, I would have probably done something like that. He's falling asleep. I'm just going to probably try to find a way to wake him up, whether it's kindly or chaotically. and have the conversation somehow in that deal. But I don't think total failure on your part, brother. I think you had the right heart in it. I think that's a great starting point, because how many of us pass opportunity every day that we don't even think twice about? And so what this does is, it might not help Alfredo in the moment, and we want to pray that God will bring somebody on his path that will. But what it does is stir you, and it does create a renewed passion, or maybe just a more ignited passion for you, growing passion, to not miss the next moment.
True.
And so in that way, your responsiveness to this, your willingness to hear from the Lord in this, and to seek out others to say, hey, what could I have done different, I think is a win.
Well, I was thinking also, like, I have his number, because the guy has a little mini construction.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, so I was gonna reach out to him and just like say something like text him and just be like, "Hey, man, I was telling somebody about the crazy story we had. It's amazing how God just protected us, blah 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 blah," or something.
All right, so now
I think that's a great opportunity.
Absolutely.
And just to say, again, thanks for the ride. Thanks for that all working out. I don't think it was by accident that you walked up to me and not some other person who was going to Tulsa. And here's the reason I think it wasn't an accident, because I wanted to share with you on the way, but it didn't. I didn't feel the opportunity presented itself very well. And so now that I have the opportunity, would love to have this conversation with you.
So you said Alfredo has a little construction. What does he do?
He said he does like concrete work.
Okay. So you need any concrete work done?
That's why it's like, I'll get your number. Maybe if I never need concrete work or something, I'll. That's how I got his number.
Yeah, that's right.
So I was like, maybe I don't know.
Sounds like we need to set up a divine intervention here.
But I do think. I think now that's redemptive opportunity there, right? You've got the number, you have you have the relationship enough now. You have such a story together that, hey, there's a good line right there, right? Like, man, we have such a great story together already. Would love for the story to continue. And so,
well, now you're asking too much. Now you're asking me to actually invest time, and not joking.
Not just to think about it.
well, it's one thing to have a conversation. It's another thing now.
See, your problem was
when I say story continue, I don't mean, hey, we're going to be friends and hang out. What I mean is the story continues to eternity. So one day we get to sit at the feet of Jesus and tell how this happened. You know.
Oh gosh.
So, am I about to get a new friend, Dusty? Is his name Alfredo?
Alfredo. Yeah. You're about to.
Hey, we drove by our church building, on the way home. Would love to invite you to come with me on Sunday. I'm going to be actually leading music and singing.
That's true. I will be there.
Boom.
Boom.
See?
Boom.
Give Rusty Alfredo's number, and Alfredo will be there.
That's an open door. It's an open door.
Because you have a lot of these kind of stories, but I was just like, but your stories do end with some mission-mindedness. And I feel like I started out mission-mindedness, and then I just was like, I turned into I'm tired and selfish, and I want to get home. You know,
I'm ready to go home, man.
It's still, and that's how I started, and then this crazy opportunity, and then.
Congratulations for being human, Dusty.
Thanks.
Yeah, see, Rusty's story would have ended, and I got on this school bus and led everyone to Jesus.
Yeah.
Right,
and then Alfredo invited me over for dinner, and I led all of his family. You know.
Yeah.
Then we went to Mexico, and
like I really thought like I was Ubering Alfredo to his brother's house, and then something's gonna happen. He's like, "I'm just gonna stay here, man," and I'll be like, "Well, I guess I'm Ubering back to an airport because I hadn't." That's what I thought was going to happen.
That's fun. What a fun story already.
Yeah. So, Rusty, were you screaming at Dusty on the inside?
There were times.
Yeah, I was too.
There were times, but it wasn't about the gospel. It was about the check bag and American Airlines.
Yeah, well, mine was...
And not getting a car right away and just driving home.
Exactly. Mine was, after the second delay, you should be getting a car.
But they allowed me to reschedule for free, so that... surely means that they have a plan to fix the problem.
Uh-huh.
But to me, it sounded like it wasn't Americans' issue. It was Dallas-Fort.
It was a whole airport.
No, actually, I was out somewhere. I don't remember where I was when that. What day was that, Dusty?
It was on a Friday. Like
it was last Friday.
Was it last Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, last Friday.
Yeah, so I was in Dallas that day. That's where I was, and I remember people talking around where I was.
Why did I not think of calling Rusty Gunn? Like.
You know what? Because what time was? Oh no, I was already gone by then.
No, he was there at 10 a.m.
Yeah, I landed at 10 or 11.
I was driving from Dallas to Oklahoma City at that time.
So dumb. So dumb.
That's hilarious.
You gotta love it.
Rusty's everywhere. I should always.
Oh, 100%.
I totally would have picked you up, but you wouldn't have met Alfredo, and you wouldn't have this great story, and the Lord wouldn't have been stirring your heart so much toward the gospel. And
I did make Carson's meet, and so it's just like everything really worked out. So, but you know me, just happy-go-lucky. Let's just see what happens. And
it gave us.
Well, sounds like you got some phone calls to make.
I do have. Let's be honest. It's text messages first. We'll start at the text messaging.
Yeah, text message first.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
There you go. So hey, invite him for Sunday. Ask him to go to lunch with you after.
Yes, Dusty.
Okay, I'll do it.
There you go.
We have a full commitment there.
Yep, I'm gonna text him.
I love it.
Right
I'm ready to hear the rest of the story.
All right, sounds good.
To be continued next week.
All right.
Well, all right, man. I'm gonna pay for these subs now that I stopped crying and try to get back to work.
Sounds good. Appreciate you taking 30-minute phone call.
That was a very long story.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
I like it though. All right. Well, love you guys.
Love you too. See you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, Dusty, yes, on the inside, I was screaming at you and thinking we need a Dusty Does Manly Things episode out of this one. How to navigate airports.
I had to check a bag, okay? I was traveling with
I get it, your video cameras and all that.
Yeah.
But abandon those. They will make it to Tulsa.
I did abandon them.
Yeah,
but I didn't
13
know,
hours later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, abandon them sooner at the 2-hour mark. When that second delay hits, go ahead and go get your car and just drive.
Or I should have like figured out what's going on. Why did they cancel this flight? Because planes aren't coming in.
I wouldn't have even done that.
I like drove around. I like rode around in the
tram.
The tram,
Yeah.
like rode around the entire thing, and I was just like, man, there's nothing coming in or out. Like that's crazy.
That's a huge clue.
That's a huge red flag.
To me, that sounds like the airport got hacked. Like if they can't bring flights in, there's a massive issue.
Yeah, and right before my last flight canceled, we had talked to a pilot, and they had been like, because that was their issue now is they don't have pilots there to take the shift change or whatever. And so, but then it went down again. And so then I keep saying FFA, the Future
FAA.
Farmers.
Yeah.
But I think, they basically were limiting it to like 10 flights an hour or something like that.
Wow.
So,
and no, you said, surely they'll get the Tulsa flight out. No, they're getting the long ones out because those are the money makers.
Right.
The little puddle jumpers from Tulsa, Dallas, they're making, $5 off a person.
Well, and to be honest, like if I stayed that next day, the original flight was delayed at one time at least. Because that's what my thing was like, there's no guarantee that they're even going to have this crazy problem fixed.
Absolutely.
And so I have to do something because I'm just going to be stuck in an airport all day Saturday, and just like be like, what's that movie with Tom Hanks where he's just stuck in an airport all day? Anyways, but yeah, a fail, but I guess not as much of a fail.
Because you do have his number, so you can reach out. You can still evangelize.
And I did step 1, which is to have the thought.
Right.
So I guess that's
And step 2, you admitted you failed.
Yes.
I don't know if that's actually step 2, but
I don't know.
That's what I got.
We'll create a 12-step program on how to share your fail.
On how to share after you failed.
Yeah, exactly. Step 1, admit.
Yes.
It's your failure. All right, guys. Well, hopefully that's encouragement to you that maybe you can not fail as bad as me, and you can tell somebody about Jesus in a normal situation and not have to be so extreme. But thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, and hope we see you again sometime.
Take it easy.